Welcome to On the Chain. Tonight, just me rolling solo. So buckle up because we've got a monster line up. That's right. XRP Army. Stay tuned. Ripple payment demo. Gemini going IPO. Man, with that Ripple dropping a brand new payment demo, shows exactly what the future of settlement could look like. Man, Ripple and SBI team over there in Japan getting ready to unleash RLUSD stablecoin all over Japan. And that's right, Gemini, man, they're shaking up the crypto world with news of their big IPO. Man, they're IPOing before. Well, there's a lot of IPOs that could stack up here. Obviously, we know Coinbase was one of the first in the space in crypto, but Gemini is big. Another massive crypto exchange getting ready to go trading public. Man, maybe they'll wonder if they're going to tokenize that IPO. That'll be interesting. John Deaton back in the fight, defending the XRP Army's impact, calling out all the corruption out there. John Deaton, right where he needs to be, defending the XRP community, defending the crypto community. Now, meanwhile, Florida getting ready to end all vaccine mandates. That's right. A lot of things going on with that. And yes, we're going to close this out with some Trump memes, some baby Trump moments, and maybe there might even be a prank or two out there. So this is, you know what this is, crypto, politics, culture, all colliding together. This is On the Chain. And guess what, guys? It's getting ready to start right about now. It's the funk, the funk. Here we go. Let's go.
Are you down with OT?
Nope. That's not it. Unless we're getting ready to take off. I don't know how these things got out of order. But let's go. Let's go hard. Let's go hard. Let's go with a regular open. How about that?
Welcome to On the Chain with Jeff and Chip.
We haven't played that one a long time. 26 seconds of pure open. That's amazing. Way too long for an open. Normally you want to do like an 8-second spot. Boom, open, get ready, go to the show. That one, 30 seconds. You might as well end the show right there. And everybody starts jumping off because it's just too much. Too much time. Good evening. That's right. DeSantis giving voters a choice to eliminate property taxes. False start in the offense. That's right. That was Art on the Lake tuning in from Hawthorne, Florida. Everybody give it quick. Tune in where you guys hail from. Got a lot of Florida here right now. It's like immediate Florida from south, from the base down Homestead, Miami, all the way to northern Florida, over to the West Coast. We've got everybody tuning in from Florida and around, which is really great. Love seeing people tuning in. Looks like the reminders might have been a little bit delayed going out. Might have had something to do with the post there. John coming in from Australia. Man, Florida, look at that. We got all of Florida. Everyone, Florida, tuning in, which is just awesome. So we'd love to see Florida here. And then King Christopher coming in from Gulfport, Mississippi. There you go. So, all right. What are we going to start with? I just said that there's a ton of things to cover. Got an epic new 2-minute song. I was putting the song together tonight. Got an epic Badass Yeti, one of the Shiver Spine. Love the Shiver Spine. But I was putting the song together, and every single one of them, first and foremost, is like 4 minutes. Then all the prompting was off. Then the lyrics are off. Everything went back into metal. I know how all you guys love the metal genre, so I got to tone it down a little bit too much screaming, a little bit of death metal. And so, but then it was like 4 minutes, 5 minutes long. It was like the epic songs were coming out, just not right for here. So had to keep toning it down until we came up with the perfect one. So, but still about 2 minutes, but I think you guys are going to like it a lot. All right. I want to jump right into two things. One, we're going to go into the Ripple payment demo, which I think is really cool. Then talk a little bit about the RLUSD being rolled out over there in Japan. They're going to be doing a distribution, and I think that that is pretty important also. So let's go into, let's see, we can see it here. Let's see if it opens. It wasn't opening earlier on my phone, but it's going to open here on the computer, and there we go. Got to fill this out. Welcome back, Jean. Ripple payments. Put in your value. So you can put in all sorts of stuff. And then let's see if we can, oh, you know what? Am I really going to have to fill this out? And I'm a value. So let me put in my stats over here. Let's see. Let's see what we can come up with. I want to see how this works. Let me get logged in. Oh, Liechtenstein is on there. Man, every single country in the world. Here we go. Are they going to let me in? Oh, they won't let me put a Gmail address in. Look at that. So you got to put an official email address in order to be accepted. That's crazy. Here we go. All right. So let's start exploring. And then I'm going to move it over to the viewing screen so we can actually view it. And let's see, payments easy. This is pretty cool. All right. Let's drag this over here. This is getting ready for the payment world. Here we go. All right. All right. All right. Share screen. Why is everything? It's like everything is now 1,000 clicks to get to where I want to go. What's going on? Legendary Cynthia 1. Need some boom bop. That's right. Gonna get some of that as well. All right, here we go. Let's share it. Let's bring it up. Some XRP music. Here's some XRP music. It's called Welcome Back. Okay, so this is the Ripple payment platform. We can see here, if we zoom in, look at all these payments that were processed. $32,000 right here, which is transferred right over into British pound. Here is Singapore from USD, some Mexican peso, and then here's from RLUSD over to pounds again. Every one of the transactions was completed, and we can come over here and we can say, okay, we're going to move, what is the Mexican peso? Right now it's 1 USD to 19 Mexican peso. So we can do, we're going to do a transaction here. Say we're going to do $1,000. See if this actually calculates. I don't know if it's going to be functional. Nope. Well, I guess that's what it equates to, but it's not functional. Let's go through. Okay, next. Let's go transparent. We'll go next. And we're going through all the explanatories, and easily add and manage. All right, lots of tours. So here, convert stablecoin to fiat, then pay out fiat directly to end beneficiaries in 50 plus markets via a single solution. Let's off ramp Ripple RLUSD, then deliver GBP to so obviously pounds, to a UK end beneficiary. So they're coming over here and getting ready to do that. So let's choose the individual payment. So we're going to go to batch or individual. There we go. Then you can say, okay, who's sending? You're going to say someone else, I guess myself. So you're going to be sending on behalf of yourself. Select the UK-based beneficiary. So we're sending it to Atheros International. Then over here, we are going to go and say, okay, where are we funding from? So we're funding 82,000. We have 82,000 RLUSD over there. We're going to be sending 14,500. It's going to go over here, shows expiration, expires at this moment. And so there it will convert to 14,492.60 RLUSD after different fees. So total of maybe, $7.40 in fees. Here you go. Transaction purpose, compensation payment, description. You put a little description in there, hit next. Now we're going to confirm and send because now the payment's been initiated. It's almost like on the Zaman wallet, right? Now the payment's been successfully created, and we're going to go to the next, and boom, that's it. It's sending. Look at that. Payment summary. Sending amount 14,500 RLUSD. 1 RLUSD equals 0.73 pounds. Receiving amount is 10,717.67. And here's the whole transaction was completed, and it happened fast. So here we initiated. Within 2 seconds, it was validating. Within 14 seconds, it was transferring. And then within 151.335 seconds, it was completed. So we started the transaction at 6:45 p.m. GMT. And then by 6:45 and 54 seconds, so 2 seconds later, it was validating. By 6:46, we transferred. And by 6:48, we had a completed transaction. So within 3 minutes, basically, again, a full transaction. That's super impressive. And we're sending a decent amount of money that typically you're doing via bank wire that may show up in 4 hours, maybe, 24 hours. You want it for 4, you paid for 4, ACH, 3 days, it's showing that it's in your account, but there's no real settlement in the account. Here, full settlement, money moved, fully settled, everything's done, and that's it. So let's continue the tour. Now let's pay employees or partners with stable coins globally. So now we want to pay an individual, and we're going to do a transaction, another individual payment. We're going to do it on behalf of myself. So I'm going to send this. This time, the beneficiary is going to be the Venturis Global Horizon. So and we're sending more money this time because we have a balance in this account. We have $130,000 in this account. We're only sending 15,000. We want to use the Ethereum blockchain. So we got Ethereum up here. Now we're going to be sending, 1 USD equals 1 RLUSD. So we're sending 15,007 and we're receiving 15,000. So it's going to cost us $7.50. We're buying some raw materials, and we hope for the sending of those raw materials very quickly. So here we go. We're going to do the transaction next, and the payment's initiated successfully. Let's see what that transaction looks like. Initiated, 2 seconds to validating, 14 seconds transferring, 151 seconds, boom, completed. There's our payment summary, and we just sent $15,000. Yes, 100% only simulation. So I'm not actually sending money around like that. Pure simulation. So, but this is all on the Ripple payment, just a demo of Ripple payments, which I think is, just really, really cool. So we went through global payments, we went through stablecoin payments, and now we can actually go in and manage the beneficiaries. So let's see what that looks like if we have to go and this whole thing is just super, super easy. So we're going to do business. So here now we're selecting local currency to a bank. And so we're going to do that. That's what we prefer. And then we open this up and we see where the beneficiary, and we're kind of going through. This is just really, really cool. I'm loving it. I think it's just really outstanding. Let me send you the $20 that I owe to Chad. Let me go back through here. Are you okay if I send that to you in Mexican peso? I think that'll be a really cool way to send. I'm just going to send via peso. So, man, why wouldn't they want to use a far superior system? What are they waiting for? That's a good question. This one just looks absolutely outstanding. I'm loving the system already. I think it's really, really cool. So anyhow, that was the Ripple payment solution that was just announced. And then we've got Ripple and SBI, another, big news on the horizon here. These are big plays right now in crypto. Obviously Ripple, obviously utilizing XRPL, utilizing Ethereum. We just saw that was, they're utilizing the Ethereum network in that situation. Now, SBI, this was announced about a week ago, and we may have talked about it. I don't know. But I thought it was interesting to bring it up again on the heels of what we just mentioned. But Ripple and SBI plan to distribute RLUSD in Japan. Ripple, a leader in enterprise blockchain and crypto solutions. Never heard of them. Not sure if you guys, if you have, mentioned in the comments if you ever heard of Ripple. And SBI Holdings, which is a major Japanese financial service conglomerate, and its subsidiary SBI VC Trade, a provider of crypto asset exchange business. Jointly, the SBI Group today announced a new memorandum of understanding for SBI VC Trade, which is a licensed electronic payment instrument exchange service provider in Japan and subsidiary of SBI, outlining their intention to distribute RLUSD in Japan. Now, valued at nearly $300 billion today, the stable market expected to grow into trillions in the coming years. As stablecoins become a key part of global financial infrastructure, the next wave of adoption will be driven by utility and institutional demand. And that's all we keep talking about, that it's institutions and it is full utility. We saw the payment solution with Ripple moving the RLUSD. There's going to be others on the heel that will also be utilizing stablecoin. They utilize RLUSD. What other types of amazing technologies are going to be developed that are going to be using, putting into place full utility of the XRPL, of stablecoin, etc., as it continues to develop. So obviously with RLUSD, obviously SBI having an affinity for XRP and the XRPL makes sense that they want to use the RLUSD. So here, the introduction of RLUSD will not just expand the option of stablecoins in the Japanese market, but is a major step in the reliability and convenience of stablecoins in the entire market, all throughout Japan. It's a very important step in further accelerating the convergence. I like that, the convergence of finance and digital technology. We will continue to work with Ripple to build safe and transparent financial infrastructure. Very, very cool. Japan way ahead. Korea has broken out ahead. The U.S. is a laggard. The U.S. is definitely lagging behind in this whole thing. Wondering what's going on. The article gets into like who's Ripple, who are all these guys? We don't know. I'm not sure what these guys are talking about. We just thought it'd be interesting to kind of cover it, get into it, see what they're all about, and etc. So there you have it. That's all we got to talk about tonight. Let's see what else we got. Got some other cool things. Kind of drilling down through the top big stories in the crypto verse. The next big one that we're going to get into has to do with this tiny little exchange called Gemini. And I kind of mentioned it already. This is big news as of yesterday. Big announcement by Gemini. It was on the PRN, or the PR Newswire, I should say. So Gemini Space Station, or Gemini, a global crypto platform, today announced the launch of its public offering. 16,666,666,000 shares of Class A common stock, pursuant to the registration statement that was filed Form S1 that was filed with the SEC. In connection with the offering, Gemini and the selling stockholders intend to grant the underwriters a 30-day option to purchase up to an additional 2.36 million and 103,000 shares of Class A common stock. There's some change in there. Didn't read it specifically, respectively, to cover over allotments. The initial public offering price is currently expected to be between 17 and 19. Obviously, anyone who gets in pre-IPO is probably in at like 10 or 7 or maybe less than the IPO. Well, they'll say it's 17 or 19. And then on opening day, it's either going to drop, it'll open at 17, 19, or they'll say that it's expected, but that's actually the pre-IPO price. And then when they actually launch the IPO, early trading, it shows 17, 19. And then on opening, it goes up. Maybe it'll be like 27 or 30. Who knows where it could potentially go, or maybe it's going to stay at 17, 19 and increase incrementally. Maybe it's a good play, maybe it's not. You could look to Coinbase to make determination and see exactly where does Gemini go with the IPO. It's going to be interesting to follow. If you have money to throw around, you want to dump some money into an IPO, then there you go. Gemini. You like crypto, you like the Winklevoss twins, you like what they've built, and you see the expansion of Gemini. It started in 2014. It's got a little bit of length, been around for a little bit. Gemini offering a wide range of crypto products, and they are in over 60 countries, and they are servicing both individuals and institutions. A lot of ands there. They're reliable, they're secure, and built to unlock the next era of financial, creative, and personal freedom. Big statements right there. That is Gemini. You want a little piece of that personal freedom? Maybe you get into the Gemini IPO. It's not financial advice in any way, shape, or form. But if you're into it, go do it. There you go. There you have it. Visual Vendetta. With all the positive articles about XRP, I'm just not sure it's not worth over 1,000. So news is one thing, reality and actual build and utility and all functionality and all that good stuff, something else. Ripple rolling out its payment structure, is definitely going to be the biggest of news. Man, getting all this news now. Mention IPO and Robinhood. All I'm getting on Robinhood now for the past couple of days is IPO, 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 IPO. All these prospectus to review on Robinhood with all these big IPOs that are dropping. So just thinking about this, when have we heard BTC? I'll show you what BTC has done. BTC has done a bunch of things. It's first and foremost, it has first mover advantage. That's number one. That's what Bitcoin has done. Bitcoin opened up the entire market. Without Bitcoin, there wouldn't be any other product. There wouldn't be a market cap right now to even talk about. No crypto. We wouldn't be sitting here streaming. That's number one. I think that's probably the biggest one that Bitcoin has done. And number two, see if we can get this here. Number two, Bitcoin has gone over $100,000. That's those are the two biggest things. Bitcoin has a massive market cap. It's probably the biggest component, biggest part of the market cap. If we look at it, dollar to dollar, has the biggest 24-hour volume, even though Ethereum is catching up, is not too far behind on volume, but which is interesting, all things considered. With a market cap at 2.2 trillion, everything else, falls a little bit short. All right. So massive market cap. And then where else are we here? What are we at? Did I read that correctly? Yeah. 3.9. So we're at like 4, almost at 4, and it's about half. That's interesting. So here we're sitting at like 540 billion to 2.2 trillion. Then XRP trailing at 169 billion on market cap. Big drop on 24-hour volume. 24-hour volume really low in consideration. However, 100,000, $2.85. So you don't have to go too far to figure out the numbers there. However, is sitting at number 3, kind of in that number 3 spot, which go back to 2017, 2018. Where was XRP? In the number 3 spot. Where's Litecoin though? I don't see Litecoin. Amazing that Doge is hovering over here, number 9. But anyhow, that's what Bitcoin has done. It's hold number 1 spot, first mover advantage, created the space, all that good stuff. That's about it. That's Bitcoin. Bitcoin. Last positive news I heard about Bitcoin was when Venezuela. Well, the positive news is when it went over 100. When it went over 100, it went up to 118, sitting at 112, 7-day 0.7% gains in the last 7 days, 0.4% in the last 24 hours. It's sitting at a big number overall. Hour over hour, 24 hours, and 7-day. If we're looking at gains versus XRP, which is down 4.3%, that's the news. If we want to look at Bitcoin, that's what it's done. That's the news. It just sits as a store of value. That's pretty much it. That's its predominant use case right now. Oh, this is so crazy. I'm sitting here looking. You guys are like, what am I even looking at? And this whole time I'm looking at the chart. Looking at all the charts. I'm kind of scrolling through the charts, and you guys didn't see anything other than me looking at the chart. So there you have it. That's Bitcoin. That is Bitcoin. The only thing Bitcoin did was first mover and price. Other than that, pretty much no functionality. Bitcoin. But what else do you need? If you're, the majority of the market cap, first mover advantage, you set the trend, you're in the number one spot. Everybody in the world knows your name. Everybody in the world wants to put your money in it. What else do you need other than that at this point in time? That's the entire summation of Bitcoin wrapped up. You can explain it to your grandparents very simply. That's what it does. So whereas try to explain like XRP and some of the others, and try to explain the technology behind it, extremely complex. So Chad, until the Fed lowers rates, we simply won't have the liquidity. No liquidity. People are holding. How do you have liquidity if everybody's holding on to their asset and there's not a lot of movement? Although Bitcoin, you see a pretty decent between Bitcoin and Ethereum, you have pretty good 24-hour volume, which is solid. Very, very solid. So, Ondo Finance went live today on the XRPL. There's another one. Charles, I was gonna say the same thing. That was so crazy. That was so embarrassing. I knew what day it was. Just checking to see if you guys knew. Always just see, make sure you guys were thinking on your toes. Yep. Ondo Finance. Ondo. Charles, I'm glad that you're here with us tonight. Let's look up Ondo Finance and the Ondo team and Ondo. Let's see what we got here. See how long it's going to take us to open the, here we go. Welcome to the open economy. Check this out. Thanks for sharing this. Glad you brought it up. Ondo. There's Sui. There's Ripple. Look at that. Ondo Chain. Lux. Borrow and lend tokenized assets. Oh, that's so awesome. I think I'm loving this. I like the direction it's moving in. Not sure if the financial world is quite caught up to it yet, but to borrow and lend with tokenized assets. What a great idea. You can tokenize your asset and then borrow and lend. That kicks ass. That's backed up with something. Borrow and lend against real estate. Tokenize real estate. 24/7 liquidity to your investors. Man, that's kick ass. Access tokenized stocks and ETFs. L1 blockchain built for institutional grade real world asset. Transfer Ondo real world asset across supported chains. Convert between accumulating and rebasing tokens. Short-term U.S. treasuries and agency bonds. Freely transferable. Yield coin designed for DeFi. Man, that's freaking awesome. Very, very cool ecosystem. Man, when we're moving in this direction, things are happening. I have to check that out. But look at that, the ecosystem. It's amazing because there's so many companies out there that are building that, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, most of them will probably be gone, bought, disappeared, whatever it might be. But for right now, It's just so impressive to see. Look at that. MasterCard is in there, MetaMask, Mercado, Bitcoin over there down in Mexico. What else? Just look at this. Just awesome. I know we've looked at this before, but I get so impressed looking at it over and over and over again. I'm in. I love it. Love it. So cool. There's 10 billion Ondo, and they plan to tokenize real world assets in the trillions. When they start doing that, you can tokenize, I think, and the real estate market going through a cool down, but imagine you're able to tokenize your real estate and have fractional share ownership simplified through the tokenization of commercial properties or rental properties. It changes the whole game of how you start investing, because if you can now buy into tokenized asset and then transfer said asset simply where, imagine you go on, you're like, I hold XYZ token, which is a token of this conglomerate real estate group that owns rental properties coast to coast. And I have all these tokens, and it's backed. The token value increases based on, property valuation. And obviously, the bare financials, collection of rent, profit, stuff like that impacts valuation of currency. Then if you're holding that token, there could be a distribution of profit. You could potentially reinvest. You're holding the share. Then you can say, okay, if you reinvest it, you can maybe buy additional share of other properties. And then you're lending the tokens that you own to buy more real estate. And then you're gaining interest on it. Man, think about the complexity of it, but the simplicity of it and how much money you can make, and how simplified, and how the real estate market will shift because you get rid of all the fat in the middle. And then you can go up and start accumulating tokens based on, maybe they only have a certain percentage, obviously, of those assets. But imagine they decided, they're going to hold a minority share and dump a majority share onto the market to see what happens, to see if there's any whales out there that start snapping up shares at a rapid pace in order to try to take over the real estate property. Then they own all the token, but as they start buying token, then the valuation goes up. Maybe it might not then. I don't know how you would do that. Does it then tie back to the property, or does the value go up because people are accumulating? But I guess you're not impacting your sale price. So I just it's very, very cool. I love it. I love it. Joe Bud said, I have no more dry powder to buy crypto. At 4, I'm selling. And that's it. Time to get out. Time to buy some Shiba Inu. That's what I'm talking about. The SHIB. Let's see. I haven't checked in on the SHIB. Probably I follow it. Their burn rate's way, 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 way too slow. Let me see. Coin. No. Coin. Yeah, why not? Their burn rate was like 200,000 in a 24-hour period. I mean, we'll be long gone. The earth probably won't be around anymore by the time they stop they get to a point where they can burn it off. But I love the articles. There's always like FOMO up, FOMO down. There's one article here. I love this. They're like side-by-side articles too. Hang on. Again, I wasn't sharing. Was I not sharing Ondo? Did I not share Ondo again as I was going through it? Did you guys not see Ondo? Man, I don't think I was sharing Ondo. I'm talking about Ondo, sharing Ondo, talking about Ondo. I can't remember if I shared it or not, but check this out. So these are the crazy articles across the board, all within one day. 10 hours ago, Coin Central, Shiba Inu price prediction. Can SHIB deliver 100x gain in 2025, or are traders backing off? 9 hours ago, Shiba Inu price prediction. Bleak times ahead for SHIB as smart money moves out. 50 minutes ago, Shiba Inu SHIB price analysis, key metrics challenges and the future. Then yesterday, Pepe beats out Shiba in major meme coin metric. 21 hours ago, institutional liquidity management in Shiba Inu, a new era for meme coins. Just looking at headlines, obviously not looking at the articles, but it's great. I love as you go through it. Here's the price. Robinhood promo in Shiba Inu. How many are written by AI? Probably most of them. Then people just push them up there. I love, AI predicts the price valuation over the next 5 years. AI is not predicting anything unless you put it in. They're all clickbait articles. Yeah, but I fall for them, all of them. Got to read the clickbait. Let's go to the SHIB.io. Oh, you saw Ondo? Okay. Thank God I was sharing that. And it's past the bottom of the hour too. Check this out. The SHIB. Look at that. The SNS Marketplace is live. They have a DAO trusted by leading publications. All the quick access. Man, Shibarium achievements. 18 months ago, we launched the Shibarium. Man, it was awesome. Oh, and by the way, Yeti. By the way, Yeti. That's it. And we're going to have to play the song here in 1 second. But I also have to pull up the StreamYard giveaway tool, because I didn't see one Yeti until Art on the Lake said Yeti. So let's open up this tool here. Let me get to the giveaway page. Let me get to our live stream of the day. Let me type in the word of the day. Let me see how many comments. Well, that's it. Man, we're so light. We're so light. Yeti. We don't have a lot of people on with us tonight either. It's so light across the board. I put it out, 0 notifications. I didn't get a notification. I didn't get notification on X. Oh, I got my notification here. Okay. It was like 10 minutes late. But where my X notification? Everything started, I guess, when I streamed. It didn't start ahead of time, which is kind of crazy. I kind of anticipated, let me get a notification when I posted it, but nothing. Oh, look at that. Nobody 2 is available on Google TV now. Sweet. Man, everybody. Let's give everybody a chance to win. Because, yeah, too many people are out of the box. Tonight, everybody gets a chance to win. How about that? So let's get as many Yetis as we can. We'll give everybody a chance to win. And let me show you guys the Badass Yeti. This is one of my favorites. I love the shiver spine. And so check this out. Here we go. This is the shiver spine. Badass Yeti number 299. Check out how badass the shiver spines are. These guys are kind of deadly. They're terrifying. They love the frost. They love the cold. This guy's name is Frost Grip. Not very Nordic, but anyhow, the shiver spine are just a terrifying bunch. Some of them actually look terrifying. When we were making them, I was like, man, all I could think of was like a horror movie. You imagine? It was, you have this little kind of cute, cuddly, furry guy, and then boom, shiver spine. Then all of a sudden, he comes out with that jagged edge sword, getting ready to hack you into pieces. So terrifying. But that guy, we're going to be giving him away today. Excited about that. So you got notified with the kids were being psychos at bedtime. You got to love that. You know what would happen when I would put my son to bed? I would go in and read books. And the books that we would read were interesting books. We moved away from like Frog and Toad. I have Frog and Toad books from when I was a kid. My favorite books ever. And so I would read him Frog and Toad. But then he was into, back then, 3 years old. He was into NASCAR. And so all of his other friends were talking about superheroes. And by 4 years old, he was talking about sponsorship from the different NASCARs, who was winning, who won the last race, who was going to win for the series, the 2 different series. So we'd go from Sprint Cup to Xfinity. And he would discuss the different car types, who was racing, what their sponsors were. So by the time he was 5, he kind of knew all of that, the background. And we were at Daytona, at the Daytona 500, on the track, sleeping in the middle of the campground, middle track, Daytona. But anyhow, so my point with all of that was that his bedtime book or books was NASCAR. So we'd read through the history of NASCAR. Then we had a coffee table book for NASCAR tracks and Formula One tracks. And that was it. We would pick a different track every night and I would have to read through it. And I read that NASCAR book, I don't know, probably 1,000 times. I don't know how many times we read through it. The history of NASCAR and, when the different deaths and things like that. I would kind of have to skip around it. But anyhow, we moved away from the craziness started when I read Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss, I had great memories as a kid of Dr. Seuss, Green Eggs and Ham. And then, but I don't like green eggs and ham, Sam, I am. All right. My son never knew the word, but I don't like. It didn't, there was no word in his vocabulary I don't like until we read Green Eggs and Ham. And as soon as he started saying I don't like, that book was never read again. And that was the end of Dr. Seuss. And it was a strictly 100% from that point forward. It was just NASCAR and things like that. So it was very, very cool. That's a great question. Does anybody know does anybody know what NASCAR stands for? And it does have something to do with the very type of car that they're racing in. So, all right, we got to get the, getting $2.99 is very cornbread. There you go. New Cracker Barrel went back to, there you go. If and when it hits 50, everybody gets a Yeti. Yeti for everybody. Chad, I'd hope you'd know that, being that you're kind of up in that general vicinity, more or less. Celebration. 3 boys. Youngest has... That's also the best, right? The sibling. Yes, that's the best. Love it. There you go. National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing. Sweet. Dana Patrick. Yes. Danica Patrick. Is that what you're saying? Yes. We talking about Danica Patrick? Okay. All right. Hey, we're way past the bottom of the hour. I got to play the song. You guys got to say Yeti and all that good stuff. So let me put this up. This is a song about the shiver spine.
Are you ready to win a badass Yeti from the blue tribe? Word of the day, Yeti. Do you have your Starman wallet ready? Why? Because this will be epic. Clan Shiver Spine! His name, Frost Grip. Badass Yetis! No solo tricks! No YouTube fanboy delusions! Obsidian boulder roast flows in the veins, each sip fueling the fight. Jeff unleashes fire, Chip drops truth none can deny. In the silence of night, a name is whispered, feared and revered. Charles, the collector of Yeti, a legendary warning. Badass Yetis, all is on the chain.
There you go. That was very cool. Hopefully you guys liked that one. That was a lot of fun. Very cool. All right. So where are we at? Hopefully, Charles, were you there? Did you see that whole thing? Very cool. The Shiver Spine. Man, Shiver Spine he's very cool, very cuddly and deadly for sure. All right, let's move on here. So let's go into some Deaton. What was Deaton up to? And what is Deaton getting ready to do? And then what's the XRP Army up to? So some things going on with there. And let's see here. Wow. The Deaton post is going to be a little long. So let's but thing is, Deaton has 2 posts. And this has to do with the XRP Army. So where did I just put Deaton's first post? Here we go. All right. I'm going to go over 2 of these. Let me share these. Let me get these up. There you go. Number 1. John Deaton. I'm not sure how I could be being used as a tool by the courts. So what happened here? Let's not ignore the flip side. Link to leadership points to John Deaton's class action lawsuit. Is this genuine accountability, or is John being used as a tool by the courts? Ray Fuentes. Wow. Interesting. When I learned the facts, I felt compared to sue Saris because he deserved to be sued. If he hasn't already been indicted, I predict he will be. At 75 years old, he'll be lucky if he doesn't die in prison. There you go. Link to, under Saris leadership, fabricated fake FOMO, alleging multiple times that Link2 had run out of Ripple shares, when in fact Link2 had hundreds of thousands of additional shares, but wanted to create the perception that demand was so high, Link2 couldn't keep up with demand. Saris and Link2 leveraged the XRP community. There's been a couple out there that have done that, pretending that Link2 had an arrangement with Uphold when it didn't. In fact, without the XRP community, Link2 would not have been successful. There are 13,000 Link2 customers. Of those, 11,307 of them own XRP and wanted shares of Ripple. When Saris accepted XRP as payment for shares in Ripple or did an XRP airdrop, Saris did it from his own personal Uphold account. This is all John Deaton. Each time Link2 lied about running out of Ripple shares, it also increased the price of each share. Link2 was engaging in excessive markups as high as 60% in violation of both FINRA and the SEC. Link2 engaged in other deceptive marketing practices directed at non-accredited investors, violation of anti-fraud regulation under the Securities Act. We know the Securities Act and Securities Exchange Act are about 100 years old, about 90 years old, 91 years old. They started back in like 1933, 1934. Link2 under Saris. So point is that there's no way you can be ignorant of something that's been around for close to 100 years. Link2 under Saris sold $18 million worth of what the hell? Sold $18 million worth of customer-owned Ripple shares without the consent of those customers. For example, anyone who believes they have an interest in 1,000 Ripple shares actually have an interest in 997 Ripple shares. The conduct and behavior of Link2 management, Saris, caused Brad Garlinghouse to prevent any additional secondary sales of Ripple stock to Link2. In October 23, lawyers hired by Saris and Link2 informed Saris that he needed to stop committing fraud, excessive markups, deceptive marketing practices, to only name a few things they told him to stop. Saris refused. 1 year later, his own general counsel, deputy general counsel, and chief compliance officer warned him again. And if you remember, there was someone had resigned from Link2. There was a big brouhaha over that whole thing, and crazy, right? I challenge anyone to read the complaint I filed, citing only facts, and then suggest that the case shouldn't have been filed against Saris. And obviously, he posted that. I think, John Deaton, we've had him on the show many times, spoke to him many times. He was the spearhead that represented XRP holders, about 76,000 XRP holders against the SEC. Man, Saris doesn't know what he's getting himself into. And Ray Fuentes to say that John Deaton is being used as a tool by the courts. Crazy. Holy cow. Osmond, nice one. Solo. That's right. It's a long night. It's great to do solo shows. I used to do solo shows all the time. But then when you get used to, the two of us on, it makes it really complex. Do all the different things that we do. That, Chip does a lot of the reading. I'm behind the scenes, looking at everything, listening, commenting, getting ready with something else. And we're always kind of like, trying to get stuff, trying to get it all together, Can't say bye at the end of the show. No, that's got to stick to it. Can't leave the show. That's it. Love the show. So, John Deaton, no credible person can argue that the XRP Army didn't make a difference in the Ripple case. That's what I was just mentioning, right? Now, let's see what DAI was saying here. Behind the scenes of the SEC versus Ripple case, like you've never heard, but includes how John Deaton and the XRP Army helped change the game and the crypto industry itself. And there you go. What's at stake? There's this whole podcast. Fishy Catfish says, John Deaton, are you a Ripple holder? Fishy Catfish. Look at that. So let's go back into it. Yeti. All right. No credible person can argue the XRP Army didn't make a difference in the Ripple case. If they do, they're either ignorant to the facts and truth or intentionally lying. That's right. More than that, I mean, thankfully for John Deaton, but that's right. I mean, the XRP Army hanging tall, throughout this whole thing was just really, really impressive. Chad said, John Deaton is the lawyer I wanted to be. There you go. It's never too late, Chad. Never too late. We have conclusive evidence that we made a difference. There were over 2,000 exhibits in the case, filed in the case. In her final decision, Judge Torres cited only a couple dozen exhibits. The judge cited my amicus brief. It's John Deaton. I'm reading, obviously, for podcast people. It's not mine, but I'm reading John Deaton's X post here. XRP holder affidavits and oral argument hearing I had in the library case on behalf of Nomi Brockwell. Now, the library case, that was one, got destroyed by the SEC, by our buddy Gensler. Now, that case related to secondary sales. She ruled XRP itself is not a security while citing XRP holder affidavits. Had she not cited those things, people could legitimately debate whether our efforts made a real difference, but the proof was in the decision itself. Often people say one person can't make a difference. I say one person can inspire many people, and together they can make a difference. John Deaton, thank you for that. Great statement, great commentary. Truly appreciate you. I'm glad that you have these posts up here. Glad that you're still contributing and setting the record straight on all of this stuff, which is absolutely outstanding. Very, very cool. Florida. Vaccine mandates in Florida will be ending. That's it. So, Surgeon General of Florida. If you guys want to live in a free state, I know there's, still some barbarism going on in other states around the union. Florida, on the other hand, is still free. So, California, not so much. I don't know. California may get their act together eventually, but all vaccine mandates, not just COVID, every Last one is wrong and drips with disdain and slavery. Who am I or anyone else to tell you what you should put in your body? This is Joseph Ladapo on X Post. Who am I to tell you what your child should put in their body? I don't have the right. Your body is a gift from God. What you put into your body is because of your relationship with your body and God. Now, this is a big move. There's enough to show, oh shoot, I can't believe I forgot to share it again. There you go. Now I shared it. There's so much to show, with the over vaccination, the amount of chemical that's going into people's bodies that is causing autism and so many other cancers that develop later in life. They're starting to see the same thing within pets. Think about the over vaccination of pets. Years ago, what did you get? A rabies shot. That was it. Rabies is a big deal. Dog gets bit by a rabid raccoon, which I guess is real. I don't think I've ever seen a rabid, vicious raccoon, but I'm sure it can happen. Protect the animals. So the rabies. Now, rabies, parvo, what's the one? The kennel one, the kennel cough. There's a whole host of things. Then they have heartworm medication. Then they have flea and tick medication. We're dumping so many chemicals on our dogs, and then they're shocked. We're like, dog cancer is up. Distemper. There you go. Dog cancers and all these different things. And I think about my first dogs died, mostly natural, didn't have to suffer cancers or anything like that. Remember one of my dogs had, see that? XRPQ. Yeah, 0 shots. Remember one of my dogs died of a brain aneurysm. She was old, just spontaneous. Another dog died of old age, and she ended up getting dementia. You had to put her down. Then we had our chocolate lab, ended up getting mega esophagus. It's when the throat doesn't close, and then he starts aspirating. So we're able to control it. Then you have to put the dog down eventually. Our coonhound died of spinal paralysis, old age, but these are like risk traits within the breeds versus, oh, I don't know, they just got cancer. My beagle, our last beagle, ended up getting cancer that metastasized through the body. Actually, my coonhound did have a spinal sheath tumor that was incapacitating his spine, lower extremity, but we ended up putting him in a chair. And the University of Florida, Gainesville, wrote a study on him because we brought him up there. I don't know how many times we'd hop in the car and do like 5 hours to drive up to Gainesville. We did that a couple times to get to University of Florida for the dog, put him in an MRI up there. And, but they recommended Chinese medicine, acupuncture, and that was the first time I actually cooked for a dog. And after that, cooking for dogs became normal. Dry dog food, poison, ground beef, peas and carrots, all this stuff that, they're going to get kind of out in nature. All right. They need to eat meat and stuff like that, not dry processed grain. That's not in their diet. So it was just amazing, to see the different things that you could feed them. Our one dog, I don't want to go down this path. All of our dogs lived pretty much to an old life. Our one dog, though, Julius, that was the only dog that actually suffered, to where, and again, it all came back to cancer that metastasized through the body. And he had problems his whole life, but he was allergic to stuff. And just to show our most amazing vet, our rescue vet, by far the best vet I'd ever worked with, which was amazing. But he had recommended, we brought him in, And for that dog specifically, he was allergic to everything, allergic to pesticides that our neighbor could have on the lawn, like anything. He would just break out in hives to the point where he was licking in between his paws, to where he would lick his feet, his privates, like everywhere, to where he'd bleed. And then I figured out that you could actually, I started cooking for him again. It was all food related. But I didn't mean to go down to depressive. But my point with that is that all the dogs ended up living to an old age. But other than, the one who was old, but had cancers that metastasized, which came from, who knows, when he was younger, but he had all the different vaccines and all the crap. That's the problem. The only kibble they should be eating is Gentle Giant. I don't know that one. I don't have a dog now. First time it's been this coming year. I think it's going to be 2 years since we don't have a dog, which that'll be in October, which is amazing. Have had a dog forever. Always two dogs, and now no dog. Yeah, chicken and rice. So it was ground beef and rice, brown rice. Loved ground beef and rice, peas and carrots was perfect. That was great. But I love thinking about, you think about the dogs. Yeah. Feline AIDS, like crazy stuff. Let's see. You still up for the movie Dealers, The Presidents? It's a free showing on Sunday here at Staying Alive. I don't know what that is. I don't know what Staying Alive is. I don't know any of that. Where's that? Movie Dealers. For the movie Dealers, The President's a free showing. I don't know where Staying Alive is. Where is that? Dear Mr. President documentary. That'd be very cool. All right. Kind of gone down this path a little bit much. So let's move over to another topic here. And then let's see. Statistically impossible. What is this? Insane news out of Germany. All right, let's open this one. Statistically impossible stuff happening in Germany. What is this? Tommy Robinson put this up. Insane news out of Germany as a 7th AfD politician dies ahead of local elections. Yeah, they're just spontaneous deaths. That's what it is. There you go. How is that possible? Is this true? I don't know if British Miss got a response on that. But all right, that to me is crazy if stuff like that's happening here. So here we go, a little bit of fun. Let's bring this one up. We know how we love the baby Trumps. So hang on a second. Hang on a minute. Hang on. Let's get this large.
Are so important. We will lose.
There we go. And then hopefully you guys can hear it. Yes, the whole world is going crazy. Perfect. Love to see the protests all over the world. It's about time. They definitely, need to have some corrections around the world. So, all right, here we go.
In my first term, I created a thing called Space Force. So important. We were losing the race in space very badly to China and to Russia. And now we're far and away #1 in space, and reestablished Space Com with a mission to protect American space assets and detect any threat to our homeland. We initially selected Huntsville for the Spacecom headquarters, yet those plans were wrongfully obstructed by the Biden administration. And as you know, they moved them to a different locale. And today we're moving forward with what we want to do and the place that we want to have this. And this will be there for hopefully hundreds of years. That's where it's going to be. I will say I want to thank Colorado. The problem I have with Colorado, one of the big problems, they do mail-in voting. They went to all mail-in voting. So they have automatically crooked elections. And we can't have that. When a state is for mail-in voting, that means they want dishonest elections, because that's what that means. So that played a big factor also. in Huntsville, Space.com will play a key role in building the Golden Dome, as you know. That's going to be a big thing. Everybody wants to be a participant in it. Missile Defense Shield, we're going to be having a Golden Dome that the likes of which nobody's ever seen before. The finest, the best. And by the way, Canada called. They want to be a part of it, and that'll be great. But Canada wants very much to be included in that, and we're going to work something out with them, I hope. It will also ensure that our technological capabilities, of which we're way ahead of anybody else, there's nobody close, remain unmatched long into the future. So I'd like to ask Secretary Hegseth to say a few words. He was very much a part of it. And really, everybody behind me was, every one of these people would call me and lobby me. I said, Katie, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I know what you want. She said, that's right, sir. That's what I want. And they got their way. So I just want to congratulate. These are really special people. They're politicians in many ways, but they're great patriots, I think even more so than politicians. So they fought very hard to get it, and it's an honor to give it to Huntsville.
That is funny. I like that. And I'm just pulling up what Mel had shared. I was just trying to type it in, and for some reason it's not coming up. Hang on a minute. I think I spelled it incorrectly. Let me see what I did wrong here. Did I spell it wrong? Oh, you're doing it on Sunday. Oh, that's awesome. It was funny. I was thinking that when you had mentioned staying alive, I was thinking a movie theater. And I'm like, where's this? I don't know that movie theater. That's right. Yeah, over at your healing center. That's really awesome. So Mel has got a healing center over there in Cape Canaveral, and they're doing a free screening of Dear Mr. President, a documentary over at his healing center, which would be very cool. So, man, that's awesome. That's awesome that you're doing that. I wish I was up in that area and could get over there. That'd be very cool. You got to open up a healing center down here over in South Florida. That would be make it perfect, make it easy. Let me pull this. There you go. Hey, you got a great place. Super nice vibe over at your healing center there. Very cool place over in Cape Canaveral. Nice relaxing environment. Got the lights. Perfect place for self-healing. Very cool. All right. So let's see, where are we at here time-wise? All right. Let's see. Oh, it's drawing time. Let me see. Where's the tool? There's the tool. Don't have a lot of people in the drawing here. Very light. So I'm going to play the song one more time. There you go. People have reversed every disease under the sun. Very cool. That's so great to hear. You know, you can have that kind of an impact on people, positive impact, which is really, really awesome. With the pleasure of being at Mel's event up in Cape Canaveral area, which was very cool. That was super enjoyable. Hopefully you host another one like that. I thought that was an outstanding event. So, all right, let's roll this. We'll do the drawing, and then we'll get out of here in a few. So let's throw this up as I get the drawing ready.
Are you ready to win a badass Yeti from the blue tribe? Word of the day, Yeti. Do you have your Starman wallet ready? Why? Because this will be epic. Clan Shiver Spine! His name, Frost Grip. Badass Yetis! No FOMO tricks! No YouTube fanboy delusions! Obsidian boulder rose flows in the veins, each sip fueling the fight. Jeff unleashes fire, Chip drops truth none can deny. In the silence of night, an
All right. There you go. Quantum Summit down in Miami area. That would be really great. Want to host it down here. And this would be a great place to have it down in Miami. That's right. Then see Fountain Blue. Fountain Blue would be good. But there's some other great play. Fountain Blue has good venue. There's a couple other good venues where you could host a nice event. The new Pier Pier 66 area, that's a great venue. They built that out. There's a lot going on over there. They used to be the old Hyatt, then they tore it down. It's over on the 17th Street Causeway. That'd be a great place. Easy to get to, close to the airport, easy to drive. Then the Fountain Blue, we stopped in at the Fountain Blue not that long ago. They still have the bar open and all that stuff. Man, yeah, that's where all the mega yachts were at. So now you go over there and it's crazy because I think we went. So you go up to the top, they have the revolving restaurant up there. It's a revolving bar, a little bit overpriced. They have a spattering of appetizers over there. And then they were opening, I think, a total of like 12 or 13 or 14 restaurants. And I don't know if you remember you had Pier 66, and then you had out on the intercoastal part, there's a place called the Pelican. And so that Pelican was under construction. We used to go there all the time because it's kind of like out past the pier or past the yacht club area, out on the water, sitting solo. And you'd sit up on the second floor on the deck and you're right there on the water. It was awesome. But now that's under construction. I don't think there were any boats in the water because they were dredging. They redid all of that. And now there's residential. So they built all sorts of apartments and all sorts of, shit going on there. Really, really cool. So, man, that'd be awesome. That'd be very, very cool. Man, the Biltmore, if you want to go down to Coral Gables, or if you want to do at the Trump Doral, that would be very cool too. If people are into golfing, that's a really cool venue. I've been there for multiple events, and the hotel rooms are great. Big, huge, area, so you walk around, there's only 2 restaurants on property, but overall, nice pool area, but good area for venue for events. Also, it keeps everyone contained where they're not running around because they're kind of in that space, which is pretty cool. So, all right, let's go to the Mar-a-Lago. Yeah, just do it at Mar-a-Lago. Why not? That'd be cool. That'd be awesome. Ooh, I almost hit almost clicked off my tab here. That would have been bad. All right, we got 11 people in the drawing. So let's got to get the music rolling here, and then we're going to do the drawing. So here we go. Here we go. Let's roll it. I have everything up, ready to go. Where's my data? Ready to go. There it is. Art on the Lake. Art on the Lake. The big winner of the night. Look at that. Recommends Mar-a-Lago and wins a victory. Rigged. It was rigged for Art. Rigged for Art right away. Recommended the Mar-a-Lago. So there you go. All right. So you know what we need on here? We need to get a that's it. I know. That's okay. Tonight we opened it up, said anybody who wins, because we got to get it rolling, get the people in. It was so rigged. We rigged it, 3 weeks ago, but we got to get it going. So what we need, Art on the Lake, need to get your Zaman wallet. We know you're here. Let me see if I have it on. Oh, I opened up the wrong file. That's not going to help us. Let's see if we have it. Let's see if I have your Zaman wallet, and your X handle. Let me get to the Blue Tribe. Then the sharing covers up the tab. I got to stop sharing. Then I got to go to the giveaway tab. Oh, wow. It's been a while since we gave away a Shiver Spine. Here we go. All right. Art on the Lake. There you are. Not that long ago. You're right. So I actually have you here. Chip's going to be like, I can't believe we gave one away to... There you have it. That's how we do it. We passed a rule because everyone says that Charles was too lucky. I don't know how you can be too lucky, but Charles collected a menagerie of Yetis. He definitely has a plethora of Yetis. And so, oh, shoot, I just deleted. I had everything set, and then I deleted the wrong thing. Hang on a minute. They're back over here. I had to get the number. Number 299. Let me show you who you just won. I'm sure you already saw it. Got to go say hello to Chip. Yes. It was rigged. Definitely rigged. All right, I've got it all. Rigged for Art on the Lake. Let me pull this bad boy back up again. I have to share and then unshare, but here you go. This is the bad boy you just won, the Shiver Spine, Badass Yeti number 299. So we're going to now transfer this bad boy over to you. So let's do that. Let's see if it's, we went through the Ripple payment. Let's see if this is just as fast. Takes me longer. It actually takes me longer to go find my Zaman wallet, open the app, scan my thumbprint, click the blue button. Oh no. Okay, what's new? What's new with Zaman? All sorts of bug fixes, smarter token payments. You can now send any asset to anyone. Recipient missing a trust line, no problem. When sending tokens to someone who doesn't have the right trust line, Zaman now offers to create a check XRP ledger or remit Zaho instead. Trust line limits too low. Zaman detects this and suggests the check remit alternative automatically. Checks are now displayed at the request tab in either the planned or request section based on if it's incoming or outgoing. Check create payloads now allow for custom amount editing for issued tokens, enhanced security and reliability. Man, Zaman is always progressing. Look at that. How great is that? Open up the Zaman to an amazing update. How come you go to like your banking app and they don't surprise you with amazing updates? These guys just crushing it. Here we go. Verifying. It's already been submitted and now it's on its way and boom, done. That's it. Sent. You now own that Yeti. We no longer own this Yeti. You're now, once you claim it, Art, you will be in full possession of Frost Grip. You're going to have him in your arsenal, in your army of Yetis. And there you go. There you have it. What's today? Wednesday. Saturday morning. Saturday morning is the next show. 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Saturday morning. And then back Sunday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the chain. We're going to get into and cover some amazing topics as usual. So we will check you guys out on the next one. Have a great rest of the week. And we will see you guys on the next one. Jeff, Chip's not here, but we're out. That's it. Out. Oh, I almost ended it without the outro. That would be bad. Let's play an outro. We played the outro on the way in. Let's play the outro on the way out. That's only fair.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.